Good news! Recorder and Sam now have a Patreon. If you are a fan and would like to support the show, you can donate at patreon.com/recorderandsam. There are several tiers to choose from, and each one comes with a chance to help grow the world of Inundatia. Again, that is patreon.com/recorderandsam. Now, enjoy the adventure. Captain Ash laughed while his time-altered duplicate scowled at him.
Don't do it. This is why things worked better for me.
The advanced captain snarled. The real Nash laughed louder.
This is what happens when you cross me. Us.
He quickly corrected, gesturing to his crew and their better duplicates. He held his large rapier down on the unconscious Roger's throat, tip piercing the skin. He pushed his sword clean through the human's throat, the bugbear having little difficulty piercing the human's spine. The rest of the Ambiguous Corsairs looked on in shock as Rogers was slain.
You arrogant fool,
the smarter Nash cried out, taking a slash at his duplicate.
You've made this so much harder,
he snarled. Mayhap snarled as well, his blood boiling, Erethanol's mace singing out in his mind.
Use the rage, you weak-willed fool. Slaughter them all.
And with that suggestion, Mayhaps finally gave in to the relic's power. Now that I've said that, I'm supposed to wait for Sam to send me a message. I don't know how that's gonna work. Last week it was magic. The week before that it was less than magic. So I'm not exactly sure how this one's gonna go. And I guess I'm just gonna wait until something changes.
You have a collect call from...
Recorder, just say yes. Just say yes really loudly.
Yes.
Oh, good. That worked. See, I told you it would work.
What is happening? What am I looking at right now?
Yeah, it kind of hurts your eyes a little bit. Don't stare in, like, the crease of the two. Look at one of us.
Okay. Are you here? No, you're not here. Look like you're in a building?
Yeah, no, man. Hey, Jeb, hang on a second. No, I'm in the drunk duck. Jeb's in, I think, his tower. I'm pretty sure that's where he's hanging out doing this.
Aye.
This is what we got set up for this time. More direct, person on person. It's back to something we're more familiar with, and I'm not going to be wandering around town bumping into people.
Right. This is interesting. This is a magic I haven't seen before.
Yeah, it's kind of like portable windows, but I don't know. It still hurts my eyes to look at it.
I'm sorry about that.
No worries, and I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name?
Oh, my goodness, I can't believe I've forgotten to introduce myself. I'm Alabaster Spendthrift. At your service.
I guess on that note, I'm Sam.
I'm Recorder.
And this is Recorder and Sam.
Well, first off, it's nice to finally see what I'm assuming is the drunk duck, correct?
Yeah, this is part of it. I can't exactly move this, so, I don't know, you can see, what was that, a couple of tables and, I don't know, a stool, part of the door.
It looks very nice, but I'm not sure if we can move these. Are we able to, like, if I were to grab onto the side of it?
Don't do it.
Don't
do it. All right, I feel like I need to explain how I got this sort of setup. All right, it's taken a few hours now to really perfect this technology. It's based on one of those divination spells, either sending, commune, or anyhow, it's largely a divination spell. But in order to, make it so it's not just a one-on-one conversation, I had to throw a bit of what's the word? Discord. Yes, I had to throw a bit of discord in the form of evocation magic into it to make it, work.
Wait, hang on. Evocation's damage magic.
Right. Yes, it is.
So is this going to kill us when we're done?
Well, that's not its intent, but
it is a possibility.
It's a small possibility that is considered with all evocation magic, and as such must be used carefully. So, don't touch it. Don't move it around.
Okay.
Don't say really, really angry words.
Oh.
And you should be fine.
Yeah, but the most important question is, will my hand go through it?
No, it will not.
So what does it feel like?
Feels like a really unfortunate experience.
Okay.
I'll phrase it that way.
But what if I just, like, gently place my hand on it? Like it was a thin sheet of ice and I was trying to melt it, not break it.
Well, that's the thing. The magic in it, really. It had to be sort of held in like a cage. The divination's sort of holding the spark of the evocation, so if you melt the divination magic by touching it, might be some kind of spell popping out. I can't remember which one I put in now. Might be lightning or fire. Ooh, it might have been the acid on that one. Yeah, don't touch it.
All right, so I guess this is the only look into the drunk deck you got for now, Recorder.
Okay, I mean, it looks very nice, and I mean, if I kind of tilt from side to side like this, I can kind of see past the barriers. It's weird. It's like it's an actual window that I can almost stick my head in, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, and as you can tell, we're very busy today.
Yeah, wow, you have 1, 2, 3 not customers there, right?
Yeah, we have. Look at all these empty chairs we got. It's almost like
Oh my goodness.
it's almost like we're still dealing with a pandemic.
Yeah.
Ah, my goodness, that's more people than I've seen in 15 years now.
That's a pretty good segue, right? We can talk about the pandemic now.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, it's not getting any better.
No, not at all.
Well, as you can tell, I'm not wandering around anymore.
That is true. You were able to do that last time.
It's been advised that while I myself am immune to disease, I stay at home to kind of stem the tides of it.
Okay.
So once again, I am primarily at home, going stir-crazy, wandering around the building.
Right.
I'm sorry. Did you say there was a pandemic?
Did you not know? That was why I was yelling at you through the window earlier this week.
Oh, no, that's how I'm usually communicated with. I've been holed up in this tower here for 1, 2... I remember the number 7. I don't know what for.
All right, so that must be... You've been in that tower for at least 7, then. All right.
At least, look, I'm a wizard. It's not really necessary to go out. That's what apprentices are.
Okay, do the apprentices come back, though? And you say apprentices plural. How many of them have there been?
Well... Currently, I do an employ of Sarta 3. Magic has been kind of necessary around. I haven't known why, but it has been quieter recently. Huh.
All right, I don't want to go too deep into apprentices. This sounds like it's going to get messy, and I don't want to have to leave any apologies on the air.
Yep.
We've done that a couple of times.
All right. Yes, I understand completely, of course. Let's move on.
But back to the pandemic.
Right, yes, that.
I believe that was the last segue we were talking about. My attention span is just engulfed on these nuts right now.
Oh my...
Sorry about that.
No, you'd be an excellent wizard. Our attention span is all over the place.
Have you ever tried to eat just one cashew? It doesn't work.
It doesn't. And it's not just cashews, I tell ya. I think there's magic afoot there.
But the...
You know, I haven't tried that myself.
Yeah, I imagine you probably don't have a huge distraction from cashews.
Nope. Nuts in general.
Nuts are delicious.
Oh.
Anyway, pandemic, not nuts.
Right.
Pandemic.
Well, the pandemic is nuts.
Oh, yes, it is. And just like a pandemic, you can't have more than one nut.
No. Hey, Jeb, hang on a second. Let's leave a little bit of silence to let him stew on that joke for a moment.
I don't know. I'm proud of it. I like it.
All right.
I think it works.
All right, that's fine. But things seem to have not picked back up, but not gotten any smaller.
Ooh.
And because of that, the lockdown isn't... I don't want to say it's more extreme, but it's more... Enforced is still not the right word I want to say. Suggested, not required, but... Enthused? That's still bad. Something like that.
Right.
We're pushing down the avenue of everybody should be doing it, including people who can't get sick. So,
the phrase.
hence why I've only been out a couple of times this week, and why I'm in the bar right now.
Yeah. So, I guess the fact that it's not getting worse is kind of good news, but not getting better.
We have a lot of people around the clock working to make this as smooth out as possible, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate anybody who is fighting for our cause in this battle.
Absolutely.
But that being said, people are still sick, and this needs to get fixed, and I'm in the bar, and yeah. I only go out once or twice now. Specifically in this case, it was to contact Alabaster, as I believe he introduced himself. I won't use his first name then.
You're too kind, thank you. Yes, that is how I introduced myself.
So, we got this set up for now. It might not work long term, but it's holding up now.
Should be.
I should probably work on finding a more long-term solution to this.
Yeah.
Because I think so far we're up to 3 ideas that might not work so hot.
Yeah, each one seems to progressively get more dangerous.
I mean, I'm sitting down in the bar right now. I don't know what you're doing. Yes, I know what you're doing. I'm looking at you.
Yeah, right, I can see it.
Yes, yeah, I mean, I can see you can see me, but I mean, like, the last thing we did was that monstrosity of a contraption that you were bringing along, and that melted a hole in the floor of an orphanage.
It was the patio.
What?
Did it explode at the end? Did it break? What happened?
If the orphans can't go outside, they don't need their patio.
That's fair. That's true.
And it did something between the two.
Okay.
I'm sorry, am I a wizard meant to be the ethical moral compass of this afternoon?
No, but similarly, a mimic wasn't meant to be the ethical moral compass of the other afternoon when he spooked me, and I dropped the thing, and it craterized is a bad word. Yeah, we chipped the stone walkway a little bit.
Okay.
I got blown away a little bit, and I bought the mimic a drink after, but that's fine. I didn't leave any permanent damage anywhere, and I'm not significantly burned.
Right.
Right, well...
A mimic?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, the thing that was talking to me at the end?
That was a mimic. That wasn't just somebody else out.
That was a trash can.
He was a trash can.
You were talking to a trash can.
Well, he was talking to me. I responded quickly, and then I kind of threw the thing on the ground.
Oh, how polite.
Look, it was heavy, it was leaking, and then it was just the final straw. But anyway, none of that matters now. All that's in the past. We're here. We can see each other directly, and we're having a conversation in real time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All of which is better than anything we've done recently.
Absolutely.
Sounds it. I guess you're welcome?
No, thank you very much for that. This has been definitely the smoothest one of these that I can't touch, and I bet it is very smooth.
Mm-hmm. I can promise you it was very smooth before I started casting on it, and then, well, frankly, I was too cautious to find out.
But, like, it looks like glass. You can't... I just want to put my hand on it.
Don't. I cannot stress it enough. Do not touch it. Are we good?
I want to touch it too. Is that bad?
Yes, that's very bad. All right. How do I explain?
But the more you tell us not to touch it, the more we both want to touch it.
I know. That's what. No.
All right, answer me this then. Is touching it instant death?
Whew, instant death would be a mercy, my friend.
All right, then I don't think that helps a little bit. I don't want to touch it that much anymore, but I do still want to touch it.
Right. Think of it this way, right? If I were to use something that were more instant, that would be more apropos for, say, a still image.
Uh-huh.
If I wanted to create something where we could all see each other for long lengths of time, I would need something that would be delayed, have a radius as large as a blast, and that I could fire whenever I called it to be fired. Are you catching my drift?
Something about a lightning bolt, right?
That's a possibility.
Well, what I'm gathering is the longer this goes, the more it will hurt?
Yes.
So I should touch it now.
Yes, here's the thing. It's gonna hurt regardless.
Uh-huh.
But it can be safely disposed of and disabled if wearing the proper safety gear. And if there's a pandemic, it just so happens that you might be wearing it anyhow.
Yeah, you got that package, right, Recorder? We send some proper safety gear out to you?
I could check the pile, but I don't think I received any kind of package.
What, a very well-dressed courier didn't walk out there and expressly hand it to you?
Not that I've seen.
I gave him so much money to walk out into the woods blindly with no solid direction and hand it to a random orphan he found in a clearing.
I think I know what the problem is.
Yeah, this...
He took a left.
I was going to say that this is a joke.
In all seriousness, this is why you pay someone half now and half on return. They have incentive to come back.
Well, I don't need them to come back. I just need them to do the thing. I understand the concept here, but yeah, I guess coming back and telling me it happened is good, but they could also just have gone and thrown it in the river and then told me they did it, so that seems like a win-win for them.
You would make an absolutely excellent wizard with your apathy for mortal life.
And his apathy towards horses.
Ooh.
It's not an apathy towards any of that. There's a realistic answer, and then what somebody's gonna do versus what I want them to do.
Right. You give them money to say walk out into the woods, they take the money and don't walk out into the woods.
Yeah, I can't prove they went out into the woods. I'm not some kind of wizard.
Even we have trouble with that, you know. I'm not a divination expert, say. I'm more of a conjurer myself. The reason I was able to set this all up is because I'm great at putting things where they don't belong.
Okay.
Yes, it's theory, really, but,
So, do you summon things inside of other things?
Well, no, it's just that to my knowledge, a lot of times summoning is about taking, a random, let's say, planar thing or entity and bringing it here. And normally it's not too happy about that, huh?
Oh, hang on. Recorder.
Sam.
Oh, alright, you say your thing first.
Did he put the ghosts in the library?
I was actually going to mention that. They're not ghosts. Speaking of, this works fine. Your thing and my thing were basically the same thing. We're getting better at this. See, we both realized that this was a good time to talk about the shadows in the library.
Right, shadows, ghosts.
No, shadows aren't ghosts. Shadows are very different than ghosts.
Shadows aren't ghosts.
Oh, they are very different.
Do ghosts have shadows?
Not at all too much. Do they?
I was going to say yes, they can. But in this specific instance, a shadow isn't just a shadow.
Okay.
What you're casting on the ground right now is a shadow, but isn't this shadow. I guess capital S shadow.
Okay. Because now I'm thinking that a ghost would have to be particularly thick to have a shadow.
Precisely. That's why I'd say that most do not. They're very thin.
Yes, we've got we've had a couple of people wander down into the catacombs of the library, as I'm going to refer to them from now on.
Okay.
And we've discovered that there are shadows down there.
Right.
Not the shadows from having a ceiling over you or at nighttime, but the kind that reach up and grab you and make you weaker.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, are you less than familiar? You want to do a Monsters Moments by Shadows?
That sounds amazing, because I don't believe I've come across any of these.
All right, shadows are similar to ghosts.
Okay.
But whereas with a ghost, you can see features and you can tell, like, vaguely what they look like as long as they're in a humanoid-esque shape.
Uh-huh.
A shadow still looks like a shadow, but that's been peeled off of whatever it was a shadow on.
Okay.
Indeed.
It can move, it can use its limbs, but it always still kind of looks flat.
Okay.
Which isn't really a big deal. The problem is that primarily when they touch you, you get weaker, so eventually, your frontline fighter isn't going to be able to hold up their own armor and they're going to collapse on themselves. And then when they're unmoving on the ground, they're really easy to kill. Which leads to the second problem, which is when a shadow gets you, it can take your shadow and use your shadow for a little while.
Oh, that could be a problem. Now, is this something that has anything to do with, like, Vince? Because I know Vince is a shade.
Shades and shadows are still different. It's close, but still different. Shades deal more with, like, a light and a darkness.
Okay.
Whereas shadows are more necromancy.
Okay.
Yes, that does appear to collaborate with my understanding of the things.
Yeah, when you line them all up by naming terminology alone, a lot of this does start to get a little bit blurry. They're shades, shadows, and ghosts are all very different things.
Okay.
Shadows and ghosts are probably more similar than a shade would be, but the shadows and ghosts are still very different.
Now, are shadows creatures of this plane, or do they come from somewhere else?
They're kind of from the afterlife. It's kind of like a mockery of a ghost.
Okay.
Aye.
in theory, I guess they would have at one point been somebody's shadow. They have to be modeled after something. But they're definitely a kind of undead, but they're not summoned, raised in the same way a zombie or a skeleton would be. They're almost crafted, I suppose.
Okay.
But while I've said that, it might imply that they have to be put there, but I don't think they were put there. I think there's just a leak in the catacombs, and that's where we're getting shadows from.
Right. Now, I do have a running theory on where some shadows can come from. It's nothing I've confirmed, of course, because confirming this would be... Ooh. But, you know how sometimes when, say, a dangerous evocation spell goes off, you don't really see the remains? All you see is a stain.
You're thinking they're just getting blasted into shadowy bits?
Oh, they're blasted so heavily that their shape remains on the wall, but everything else has crumbled into dust.
That feels necromancy-y enough.
It's the strange combination of, oh, I have just killed someone, but there's not even a body left. So I guess I'll take this and,
Well, you know what they say, no body, no crime.
Yeah, but if you make a shadow out of it, you've made a body.
It's a shadow.
Well, that's the thing. You can't really tell what it is as a shadow. Look at your own shadow right now.
Yeah, it's a shadow. I'm pretty sure I know that's a shadow.
You know it's a shadow, but you can't figure out as much from it. There's much less dimension to work with. And I'm sure a necromancer can shave off bits here and there, and...
Yeah, but while you got a zombie who's blindly loyal or has no intelligence, shadows aren't working with, like, nothing. They're not brilliant, but they're not, like, zombie level of dumb.
Huh, I did not know that. Good to know.
I'd put them up there with, like, a toddler.
And also, if I saw a shadow with half a beard on it, I'd assume it's Sam.
Yeah, but that implies that I've died or don't have a shadow.
Or you're just standing behind me?
Which half of the beard, though?
The top half.
I was going to say the middle half.
Oh, those were the halves we were discussing. I thought we were talking left side and right side. Huh.
No, middle side. Middle side or outsides.
Ah, all right.
It's like just a strip.
Yeah, the most difficult halves to get.
I see. You know, for a wizard, I thought I'd understand beard shadowing, and yet, here I am.
I do like the idea of the top half of your beard being gone, and it's just levitating below your chin.
That's what's called a neck beard.
Oh, no.
Fair.
The problem with having the shadows in the catacombs right now is that most people currently aren't going out to help.
Right.
So I guess for now, seeing as the shadows are staying in the catacombs of the library, mostly just upsetting some books, they probably don't need to be dealt with presently.
Okay.
They do need to be dealt with, just maybe not during a pandemic.
Is there a way we can contain them to the confines of the library and the catacombs?
They don't seem to be trying to leave.
Okay.
Part of the beauty is, what would you think the weakness of a shadow would be?
Light?
If I had to guess.
Yeah, so at least during the daytime, they're really not getting down there. So I guess if you just like leave enough candles or cast light and just kind of let it hang out in the doorway, they're probably not going to get out.
That's fair.
And if you're really worried about it, you could leave the light on a side of the door and then just close the door.
Yeah, but I think a shadow could slip under a door.
If it's only as thick as a shadow, then yeah.
Fair enough. It's for the thought of the safety more than the actual safety. If you say, oh, there's that open doorway, there's a bunch of shadows on the other side of that small orb of light, though, so enjoy that.
How similar are a shadow and ghost to the point of intangibility? Can a shadow pass through solid objects?
I'm fairly certain they're about as incorporeal as ghosts. I think they can pass through stuff, but even if they can't, they're a shadow. They can probably just slip around stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, you can see a shadow through a doorway, to my knowledge.
That begs the question, if a shadow turns, does the shadow itself change shape, or are we looking at like a line segment?
Does a shadow have to be casted? Like, obviously there's nothing to cast the shadow, and the shadow is its own entity, but can it only be on the wall, the floor? It can't stand free?
No, I think they're freestanding.
Right. I've got an idea. You know when you stare into a bright light and then you close your eyes and sometimes you can see something?
Yeah.
A shadow's like that, in that you look at it from any direction and it'll always look like what it looks like.
All right.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes them reaching out all the more horrifying, but...
Oh, it does, doesn't it?
Thankfully, I'm not the one who's going to go down there and deal with them.
Yeah, that'll be a job for
the first few people to get healthy.
Hopefully they're in the Adventurers Guild as well.
Thank goodness you're only recruiting me for recording this entire operation.
Yeah, speaking of that, where are you? That's not the room that I was looking into when we were talking before.
Well, you see, I live in a tower, and as I have multiple floors of this tower, as it were, and this is the basement of the tower, where I do the majority of my experimental work, and where I keep things that I probably should throw away, but I don't really want to.
Right, that's all fine, but...
That is a good use of a basement.
Thank you.
You didn't move, but the background did.
Ah, yes. That is called teleportation, my friend, and it is one of my favorite spells I've ever seen.
So how are you able to move your magic window, but we can't touch ours?
Well, I can't touch my...
Is it okay to touch it now?
No! Magic. Magic can usually touch magic without horrible things happening if you do it really carefully. I've had to use... strange.
Yeah, okay, but here's the thing.
Yes?
I'm pretty sure my skin is magic, so I think I'm gonna touch it.
No!
Wait, I'm basically a soul magically bound to a body. I'm magic.
Yeah, but you're magic in a skeleton.
Ooh, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Right. Here's the thing. The very center of this magic does not care what it touches, but if the little layer breaks...
Yeah, but what if I don't break it? What if I just gingerly touch it?
Do you really want to find out?
Yes. I'll answer for you, Sam. Yes.
Of course
I
you
was
do.
gonna try to say no.
So out of sheer curiosity, have you already sent the courier with whatever form of payment we agreed to on their way?
No, that was what we refer to here in the podcasting business as a bit.
Ah, thank goodness. You're really scaring the daylights out of me here.
That's fine, you're really in the dark. Like you should probably light up a room you're hanging out in. Is the light in that room coming from our sides of these windows?
It is, in fact, yes. I like to keep this space in the dark. The light is... it's not quite pleasant to look at as it used to be.
So did I, catch you on, a bathroom break, then?
I don't like to talk about it, but that's a distinct possibility, yes.
You might want to think about going outside more, I guess, when there's not a pandemic.
I was going to say, there's a pandemic. I kind of can't.
Does your tower have a roof you can hang out on?
Does it? I do have one still, I think. That one hadn't.
Wait, are you not sure if you have a roof?
Well, here's the thing.
He's been in there for 7, Recorder. Come on.
Yeah,
A whole
I've
7.
been in here a whole 7. Here's the small problem. I specialize in conjuration, and sometimes the things I conjure are angry. And then when I think, maybe I shouldn't conjure for a while, I should try something else. I try to evoke, for example, and then I might not have a roof.
Well, see, the question I'm having here is not whether or not the outside of your tower has a roof, but rather the inside of your tower. Does it have a definite ceiling, or can you just go up the stairs forever?
I haven't explored it yet. Fully. I didn't really make this thing. I sort of found it, and then I found someone else using it as their tower, and they found themselves to be something I could regularly conjure, and...
Wizards are a lot like hermit crabs. When one of them dies, another one is going to eat them and take their shell.
Not eat them.
Oh, no?
It's more of a beverage than consumption. We leave eating for the,
For the hermit crabs.
So you smush them up into a liquid and you drink them?
Oh, no. We just take the liquid as is. It's just... It's like, you know those poultices we make for healing and the like...
Uh-huh.
I'm getting a little worried that my metaphor is now becoming literal. I meant it metaphorically as in, well, a wizard would leave behind scrolls and books, and now that new wizard moving into the shell, which is the tower, gets to learn all of that.
And now I'm thinking our wizard friend here is also suffering from vampirism, which is why he's sensitive to light.
I'm just pale!
I mean, he is a gnome. Gnomes live underground for the most part.
You're not all of them, no. There's a subsection of them that lives deep underground, but most gnomes I know live outside. The thing is, wizards...
I will give you 10 gold if you could pronounce the name of those gnomes.
You're referring to the Sverfneblin, aren't you?
The Sliver
Yes, right, no.
The Sliver Nerflebulin.
All right, now give him 10 gold.
Don't.
Here, let me just reach through the window.
Right. I feel the need to clarify. I am not a vampire. I'm a very skilled conjurer.
Who drinks blood?
No, I don't drink blood.
He drinks wizard juice.
Wizard juice, which most wizards run on blood. Wizards run on blood.
Well, don't most of you? I mean...
I don't.
Recorder is... Yeah, I thought you'd be the exception to the rule there.
At least 1/3 of us don't.
Yeah, right. So, call it an even 50-50.
I might have stagnated. I might be running on alcohol, so...
Oh, dearie me, it might be 2/3 total. I don't know if I fully run on blood. What I'm trying to say is... I can steal magic from users of magic. It's from a ring I found in a completely different tower.
So you're a magic vampire. You don't suck life, you suck magic.
Not necessarily. No, I found a ring that's a magic vampire.
No, he politely sips magic.
Yes, precisely. Like a connoisseur, not a cannibal.
Pinky out.
Precisely. Both pinkies out if I can manage. Yes.
Both pinkies out a full 360 degrees.
Oh, precisely. How else are you going to cast spells?
You have to have that
sign?
last pinky bone removed in order to do that.
Yes.
Not last as in the one under the fingernail, the one right by the knuckle.
Yes. Believe it or not, actually, that's why liches are so common, because it's so much easier to remove bones when you're nothing but bone.
I don't think all liches are specifically bone.
Not all of them, but it's a common variant, is it not? Like, I'm sure there's the equivalent to a shadow lich, or a ghoul lich.
No, I don't know, I guess I pictured liches more like zombies, where there's, like, gross stuff hanging off of them. They're not just bone, but there's, like, I don't know, maybe, like, a mask of face left.
Yeah.
Maybe some amount of hand left on the hand, so it doesn't look just kind of...
Very zombie-like.
Yeah, not like a skeleton.
That would be the Middle Age ones, I'd say. But
now that we're talking about it, even bone would eventually crumble to dust, so...
Of course. Where do you think the demi-lich comes from?
See, and that's something I've never understood. The demi-lich sounds like it would be a weaker lich, but it's not.
I've heard it's half and half, really. You can either accidentally become the equivalent of becoming a senile wizard twice over, or apparently you can do it intentionally, and that makes all the difference. I don't get it.
As far as senile wizards go, where are you on that chart?
On the chart of necromancy, I prefer to conjure the alive, personally.
No, I'm asking how crazy are you?
Ooh. I'm going to need to do some math on that. I'm not too crazy. I prefer the term ambitious.
Okay.
That sounds like something a crazy person would say, though.
Yeah.
Now, a crazy person would say, I'd say, Rooster, banana, slipknot. I, however, have been speaking in cogent sentences, so I can assure you I am perfectly sane adjacent.
That's almost the same branding. It's almost the same naming technique as my favorite brand of alcohol.
That would explain so much. You know alchemy is a form of magic, right?
Alchemy is also a form of brewing.
Yes, well, when you combine the two, and you drink regularly, and you also make magic, well...
You get the brand Lightning Bolt Chair Penguin.
Precisely.
Lightning Bolt Chair Penguin.
An actual brand.
Hey.
Oh, you're kidding.
No,
That
it's my
can't
favorite.
be real. Oh, well,
It's very real. It's a lot like a wine, except instead of I imagine instead of juicing a fruit to get wine, you're juicing a spell to get wine.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
There's a
leads
lot
me
of
to-
things you can juice to get alcohol from. And I'm
Oh, precisely.
quite...
Well, that was a metaphor, and you squeeze the rats.
Yeah, okay.
okay.
You do squeeze the rat.
It's not so much of a juicing as it is just everything that comes out.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, if you remove a few pieces first, it could be more of a juicing. Like the same way you'd remove seeds from a fruit if you wanted to juice it.
Is there a spell that'll de-skeletonize a rat?
Yeah.
It's always those
theoretically.
It's always those pesky bones that get in the way.
All right, hear me out. I'm not a necromancer. However...
I do know how
if
to
you
dissolve bones.
No, you don't have to be a necromancer. We can just summon the skeleton somewhere else.
Yeah.
Precisely! You animate the skeleton and let the meat fall off.
Now, I don't
You
really
had-
have to worry
you-
about this too much, but I'd like to pose this to you two. Imagine losing control over your own skeleton.
That was my thought. If you're animating the skeleton within the rat, that's a challenge.
Oh, yes. I don't need to imagine that one, unfortunately.
Technically, a skeleton's an inanimate object.
I don't want to walk too far down this path because
Not too
this path
far.
leads to doing it to people, and it shouldn't be done. So let's walk away from animal cruelty, leave rat wine to the rat wine brewers, and enjoy the fact that Lightning Bolt Chair Penguin is a wonderful brand of... There's got to be some way to combine the words alchemy and alcohol. Alchemy hall? Alchemic hall?
Yeah, that's it.
Alchemical. Yes,
It is-
it's an alchemical creation, yes.
There we go. I knew I could find it.
Well done, well done.
With all that behind us, what...
No, inside us, not behind us.
Well,
Oh,
inside
thank
you.
goodness.
Beside me. What is this pandemic going to do for us? Because not that much news is happening because not that many people are going out to do anything. So what does that mean for us?
Yeah. I was gonna bring that up when the time felt right, but I guess now's an okay time for it. I think since not too much is happening or changing in the current stead, it might just be smarter if we just kind of go on a hiatus.
Yeah. I mean, we could give the news of what Teddy's giving the citizens of Lattice and what's going on with the pandemic, but I feel like they're getting that directly from him faster than they would get it from us.
And if people are inside, they might not exactly have the ability to come listen to us.
Right? That's also something else to think about.
Right. And as a third party, if I may interject, a hiatus for you gives me more time to make this discordant barrier line. I'm still working on the name. It gives me more time to make it less,
Sizzling.
volatile. Sizzly, yes, that's the crackling in the background. I'm so happy someone else noticed it. I worried I was going crazy.
And I'm assuming this isn't something that you can just do every time we want to get together to produce this podcast.
Unfortunately, no. If I were a better wizard, I'd try, but this took a bit out of me, to tell the truth.
So maybe once the things calm down, we'll be able to get to full swing again?
Yeah, actually, meet face to face.
Right.
That would be quite pleasant, when things start to quiet down a bit, I'm sure that I could figure out where my apprentices went and get my entire, operation on working on this, huh?
Oh, I think that's sadder, just thinking your apprentices got sick.
Well, no, but I don't just kidnap orphans. They volunteer. They want to learn. Maybe they're stuck at home.
Who said kidnap orphans? That was very specific.
I'm a wizard. Ethics are rare. That's not what I do. I remember how there was a previous wizard in this tower?
Yeah?
Let's just say that I'm a relatively nice practitioner.
Right, but you drank him.
Proverbially speaking, yes. And I felt okay doing that because they were, not.
That's why you feel okay not you specifically, that's why one feels okay kidnapping orphans, because no one else feels anything about them.
I'm saying that the other person, that wizard, I found them in the middle of, kidnapping someone in this tower, and I was like, you know what, that's not okay. I normally don't do this, but, and then I said, all right, you can go if you'd like, or if you feel like staying and working for me, you'll learn magic. When you're older, I will start to pay you, and, some left, some stayed. I found more, and look, all I'm saying is I try to be ethical. I'm old and hermit-like, so my understanding of ethics is...
Would you say hermit crab-like?
Yes.
Besides, if you need the steady stream of orphans, you can go to Wyla.
Yeah. I mean, she's got a few, and sounds like she's got a few she'd like to offload.
Well, the implications about this person is horrifying, but I won't say no to free orphans.
Because no, I do want to double back on that real quick. That was a joke that is not meant to be insulting to Wyla. She just happens to run the orphanage, and this was a cheap joke I could make at the expense of orphans.
All right then. All right, I understand completely. Yes.
We don't want to offend anybody we've spoken to directly, but orphans are fair game.
I've never spoken to an orphan before.
To tell the truth, I'm not sure if I have either.
Does that imply you kidnap orphans and just don't speak to them?
No, I don't know if the person the previous wizard kidnapped was an orphan or not.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't know if anybody I've punched in the nose has been an orphan or not.
Sam, are you an orphan?
Yes and no?
Yes and no?
Yeah,
How does one...
You know I was adopted, right?
I believe you mentioned that. I don't know if you've ever actually explicitly said that before. I know you were raised by dwarves, but that's not being an orphan. You were raised by dwarves?
Yeah, that's what I'm not a dwarf. They're not my birth parents. But that's still my mom. I don't know who my birth mom is, but
right.
Yeah,
but you have a mom.
That's why I'm saying yes and no.
So that's not an orphan.
I don't think can babies be orphans?
Can they?
If they don't have parents.
But by when?
They can't. I have to come from somewhere.
As soon as they stop having parents?
So, is being an orphan a matter of, aging as an orphan?
I think
If you...
Now I'm a little worried we are going to offend orphans, but I believe if you're under 18 and your parents no longer are your parents and you have no kind of guardian, you're an orphan.
Well, that would make any orphan in the orphanage not an orphan.
Right.
No, because she is running the building.
Oh, that's fair. Yes, okay. She's in charge of them, but not their specific guardian. Okay. So then, yes, I was an orphan for an indeterminate amount of baby time.
Interesting.
Okay.
Right. See, I was unsure if I qualified as not, because the warren of gnomes that I was raised in, they raise children communally instead of personally, so I don't quite know.
Then I would say no.
See, my argument was going to be that a baby can't be an orphan because you have to age as an orphan. So...
No. You can be an orphan for 10 minutes.
Is that allowed? Can you briefly be an orphan like that?
Well, yes.
But from my understanding is once somebody scoops you up and starts taking care of you, you're no longer an orphan.
But you were an orphan.
You could have been orphaned, but you were not currently an orphan.
Right. Now, not to offend any paladins or the like, but for the 10 minutes before they were left at a monastery doorstep and before they were picked up by, say, a monk or a friar, they were an orphan.
Yeah.
So then yes, I was an orphan.
But not anymore.
Correct.
And I am not an orphan, even though I don't have parents.
Yeah, I don't think a Warforged could ever be an orphan.
Right.
Because you would never be at a point in your life where you couldn't take care of yourself.
I see where you're saying that, but that's not the argument I was making. I never had parents to lose to become an orphan.
Yeah, but I'd argue that if you don't have parents, that makes you an orphan.
Right, but the act of becoming an orphan is having parents and then not having parents. I never had that first step. So the second step didn't matter.
Well, your parents would be the machine and the wizard who stuffed your soul into the husk.
I don't think so.
Only certain wizards qualify as parents, and that's the more compassionate ones that act parently towards their magical creations. Not all of us do it.
So, if you were to cut your beard off and throw it out the window, is your beard now orphaned?
I mean, it's shaved.
Right, but your beard is still a beard.
But
Is it a beard if it's not on your face?
yeah,
Just
it's
hair.
just hair.
It's hair, yes. The only way it would be orphan hair is if I had somehow created a sentient hair golem. I should write that down.
And then killed its parents.
Then it killed the wizard that made it. That would be an orphaned golem.
Ah!
As opposed to an orphan golem, which is a golem made up of orphans.
That would be an orphan.
But if you're an individual who commits patricide or matricide, that doesn't make you an orphan, that makes you a murderer.
Wouldn't it make you both?
Oh, it could easily be both. Think of it this way. Say that you are a child who does the sort of horrifying things that murderers do to their parents. Imagine...
Like murder.
Yes, like murder. I'm not explicitly advocating small children to murder their parents. This is an official medium, and I am a wizard who is vaguely known. I couldn't...
I mean, it would be hard for them to do it anyway. They're so small and squishy.
Parents are small and squishy.
Yes, precisely. But if they did... Yeah, nonetheless, if... Explaining this is purely a hypothetical. If, say, for example, a child were to murder their parents and then go before... What sort of legal system does Lattice have? I haven't paid attention to law in a little while now.
I'm thinking it's more than 7. I'm pretty sure you've been gone more than 7.
Are you even in Lattice?
That's a very good question. I haven't seen a window in a bit. I don't know.
Then what did you talk to Sam out of?
Then who was I talking to?
You were still talking to me. I have my own magical equivalent to windows. Because, you see, this thing can move, I think?
Oh, we can touch it now?
No, not that. The tower I live in can move.
Oh, I understand.
Yes, it might be some sort of artifact or something or other. I try not to interact with things I don't understand for my own safety.
Does it leave like a big scrape mark on the ground? Or does it like hop around? Like if you're in the basement, it's underground a little bit. So does it like dig a trench when it moves, or does it just teleport?
Well, how did the lighthouse move? Did it
that got
grow
legs.
Ooh.
That got legs, so maybe his tower has legs?
My tower could have legs. No, it has more of a corkscrew shape at the bottom of it for spinning and putting itself into the ground. I think it teleports. I haven't been outside in... At this point, it might be 8. So I'm not really sure how it does it.
Does that mean it teleports above where it wants to go? It doesn't just teleport already in the ground?
It might. That might be to prevent the underground areas from filling up with the contained setting.
Follow-up question. When it screws into the ground, how pressed up against the wall do you get?
Less than I thought.
Yes, what is the rotational speed of this tower?
Less than I thought, more than you'd think. I don't know how to measure it. I'm usually pressed up against the wall when it happens, so I can't say, yes, allow me to procure my measuring implement. It's over.
Well, the next time your tower moves, and right before it begins to drill itself into the ground, just jump.
Oh dear. Do you have any idea what I keep down here? Jumping is not a regular activity. Bare minimum, there is broken glass on the floor from at least one potion. And that's the pleasant stuff.
Well, I mean, we haven't decided if you have infinite floors yet. I'm sure you have an empty one.
I should have at least one.
Or a padded one would work too.
Oh, yeah, there was one padded.
It seems like you're someone who could make use of a padded room.
But you're forgetting about all the glass on the floor.
Yes, it's not
Even in the padded room?
I'd have to check.
Unless the padded room is the absolute topmost room. If the whole tower is spinning, stuff's likely gonna fall down to the next floor.
Do doors not exist in your tower?
Not always, and they don't always...
Not always.
They don't always lead to the next room, either. It's...
Alabaster, I think when all of this is over, we gotta get you a better tower.
Please. Yes, I would...
I think yours is broken.
Oh, this was all intentional.
You know what? I'm not too far away from a wizard's tomb
Yeah, do you want to come live in a rock box in the woods?
that somebody died in. I guess you're used to that.
I'm a wizard. I don't live under a rock. I live on top of them. Except when I'm in a base. A tomb?
Somebody's tomb. It's not anymore.
Yeah, someone's. I don't know who.
It's empty now.
Right, and it became empty when...
When the Grey Render unearthed it.
Oh.
Something like that. We'll have to go back and re-listen. We'll edit in the right answer. It's fine.
I haven't heard the name of the thing we're going back and listening to in quite a while. Ooh, that's classy. Right. I might have to start summoning things that can dig. I could make myself a little tunnel or a cave or something.
No, we've already had to deal with bullets.
Yeah, underground might not be the best place. You definitely want a basement. Basements are good places for stuff. But other than that, maybe don't go too much deeper, and definitely don't put a big screw head on the bottom of it.
Ah, fair enough. Maybe a mountain? It doesn't have to move.
And this is how I know he's a gnome. He keeps talking about being inside of something like this, so he's definitely not some kind of monster, which I haven't mentioned, but I have been suspicious of.
Look, the hill life doesn't quite suit me. I've met some halflings who do that little burrow.
But a mountain is just a big hill.
It is! But there's something about the way it echoes when you shout stuff from it that just... I can't explain it. I can't.
It is a satisfying feeling, though.
Yeah, thank you.
Look, yelling from very high up places feels good.
Yes, that's why wizards have towers. That way we can do our who dares and the you shall never escapes. We have tall towers and mountains, and we have echoing catacombs in the case of our edgy brethren.
That's a good pair of words, echoing catacombs.
Yes, that's what they do.
Oh, I thought you meant edgy brethren.
Yes, I'm afraid they both work quite well together.
Both of those are band names.
They are, absolutely.
Of course a bard would call themselves something like that.
We are the echoing catacombs.
Excuse you, we are the echoing catacombs. Combs.
No, on stage is like 50 stories up. Come on. It has to echo.
It has to echo, yes.
Yeah, but they're not saying anything. They're just shouting for very long periods of time.
We're in a band.
Actually, no, it'd have to go the other way. The stage would have to be very far underground.
Well, I've heard that a lot of bands tend to be underground these days.
You sit there in silence and appreciate that. Appreciate that solid 7 out of 10 joke.
It's at least 8 now. Come on! Now I'm wondering if any of my commune members have started an underground gnome band. I haven't seen them.
I feel like we're getting very far off track.
Yes.
And this is getting very tempting to touch. Recorder, I think I will get back to you as soon as the news picks up.
Okay. You'll still keep in contact with me, though, right? Because I'm kind of out here alone.
Yeah, so you're the safest. You are, like, absolutely the safest. I guess maybe not bears, but you're not going to get sick.
Right.
Right, I believe I qualify as second safest, especially if this thing is infinite, so I should be safe.
Especially if you're not in Lattice.
That's not a small chance. I don't know.
Look, I'm pretty sure he's in Lattice. I'm pretty sure he's just down the street from me right now.
Oh, that would
Yeah, but is the building you talked to him the inside of that building in Lattice?
All right, now we're getting into some very high-level meta magics, and I don't want to go over that right now. When I'm trying to deliver the very bad news that I think we're gonna have to kind of put this to the side for a bit as news disappears behind that of the pandemic. More importantly, I'm touching it. It's happening. We're doing this.
Oh no!
Oh, my not ears are ringing. What the hell was that? Sam definitely shouldn't have touched that. I thought he was just joking. Oh man, everything around here is destroyed. Oh, the table's broken. That barrel's busted. Oh, my stuff is everywhere. Oh good, but the plant survived. Okay. Oh, I got so much picking up to do here now. Looks like the rest of the forest is okay. I mean, it's seen better. I guess once I get this cleaned up and Sam's able to get back to me, if he's even still alive, we'll be back with more news. Oh good, the music box is still in one piece. Sam was played by Tucker Avery. Recorder was played by Kenny Boucher. Alabaster was played by Will Harrington. If you want to ask the show a question, leave a comment or send an email to recorderandsam@gmail.com.
Recorder and Sam now has our own Discord server where you can feel free to socialize with other people who listen, and just as well, we have our own little room where you can go ahead and leave questions at the bar.
We'll see you in the next episode.